So guys, not much new here this week for Smash Bros. News. Well, other than Dylan from Dylan's Rolling Western confirmed to not be playable. Not that I had Dylan in my list. I don't even know anything about his games. JaidynReiman predicts Super Smash Bros. 4. Welcome back to anyone that watched my previous video. I know I don't have many subscribers right now, but, well, for her to watch my last analysis, welcome back nonetheless. Just like my previous video, we'll be using the Smash Bros. Roster maker to create this roster. Unfortunately, last time, I forgot to actually mention this in the video, but this is what I'm using, as you can see here, and I'll provide a link in the description below so you can go and check out yourself. Now, last time I talked about veteran characters and who I thought would not be returning from past games, mostly from Brawl. For a quick summary, I don't think Snake, Ivysaur, Squirtle, Rob, Lucas or Ness, and Falco or Wolf will be coming back. So my bets are on Lucas and Falco being dropped, but for those ones it could be either or. Other than the characters I just mentioned, I think everyone will be back from Brawl. I don't think any melee characters will be back, except for Mewtwo. For more in-depth analysis about my thoughts, please check out my previous video. Now for this video, I'm going to be talking about newcomers I think are being in the game. This is not a video of me suggesting who I want to be in the game. It's actually me talking about who I think will actually make it in. That said, I will be doing this in order of who I think has the most chances of being in, focusing on unrepresented IPs first. Alright, now let's get started. My first suggestion may be highly questionable, but I think that this one's far more likely than people are thinking at this point in time. I really think that Sammy from Advance Wars will be making it into this game. Advance Wars, or the Wars series, also known as Nintendo Wars, is by far right now the oldest and longest Nintendo franchise that has yet to get playable representative in Smash Bros. Advance Wars itself is only like 4 games, but the Wars series has been around since the NES days. There's Famicom Wars, Game Boy Wars, Super Famicom Wars, and finally Advance Wars. Roughly, I think, 10 actual Wars games. And then there's Battalion Wars, which for Wii, I think it was only for Wii, but Battalion Wars is kind of questionable because it's not really connected to the Wars series. But either way, obviously the first one to actually reach the West was Advance Wars, and for marketing purposes, they stuck with the Advance Wars name. Now, there's multiple reasons for Sammy being in this list. The first of which is that Sammy just looks like the best of the 3 CEOs from the first 2 Advance Wars games, and also she specialized in infantry. The other reason is that she plays an important role in Advance Wars Dual Strike as well, and Andy does not. In fact, Andy is not even in the story of Advance Wars Dual Strike. Also, she'd be another female addition to the roster, and I think she'd work really well as a whole. Now, moveset-wise, I kind of see her as an updated Snake, mainly due to the notion at this point that Snake probably isn't coming back. It also really does help that Advance Wars 1 and 2 were recently re-released on Wii U Virtual Console. Now this one, most people would rank higher than the Advance Wars character, but I do think that he's still very likely. It's Isaac. One thing that sets this up, especially that not recently, I actually found out that Golden Sun Dark Dawn was only released in 2010. That's 2 years after Isaac won the Assist Trophy in Brawl, and it's only 4 years ago. This is something that I completely missed before. Plus, the recent release of Golden Sun on Virtual Console pushes it even further. Isaac's swordplay and Sidhu make him a very new and unique character, especially since we don't have a whole lot of magic characters in the game. People argue that Isaac is too obscure, but guys, the only reason Fox and Ness are still relevant is because of Smash Bros. Now, this next one is actually going to be a third-party rep, and I do think that if we get a third-party rep, it's going to be it's going to be a Namco character, either Pac-Man or Lloyd Irving. And frankly, Lloyd Irving to me would be by far the better choice over Pac-Man. And I do think that Lloyd has a slight chance, although Pac-Man is more likely. Alright. At this point in time, I really don't think we'll get a third-party rep, but we'll see how that goes. Let's just reorganize the system a little bit. Now, see, the thing is that Lloyd, in fact, the Tales games play very similar to Smash Bros. I've heard other bringing this up before, and I know Smash Bros. Myself, because I know both, because I play Tales games regularly, I play Smash Bros. Regularly, and they do play quite similar. In fact, special attacks are initiated by pressing the B button and pointing in a certain direction. That's exactly how it works in Tales games too. Lloyd is fit in perfectly, and Pac-Man doesn't. He has moveset potential, but most of his moves are derived from other video game characters. He's not that special or unique, and I don't really think that he'd fit, but I don't think he'd work as well because he's just not that interesting. And Ghostly Adventure sucks. Yeah. Now, this next highly requested edition is one who I'm actually calling into question a little bit. I'm not fully sure if he's popular enough yet to make it in, but he is definitely quite high up there on the list for a lot of people. Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles, especially since Xenoblade appears to begin a sequel on the Xenoblade appears to begin a sequel for Wii U. Now, at the same time, he might be a little bit too new because modern franchise reps, in the past, they haven't really added a modern franchise representative that has not had a game with a... Well, they haven't really added modern franchises. They've only had one game to date. And again, I said modern, not retro. And even then, usually retro characters at least have 2 games. Even Pit had 2 games. I think the only one who we can argue that is Ice Climbers. Now, yes, I know that NES is only one game, but there were 2 Earthbound games. So, and also, of course, shortly after, they already had, by that point in time, they already had Mother 3 and planned development as well. Regardless, I think that Shulk is highly likely, and I don't think that Shulk getting in will prevent Isaac from getting either. I think that both Shulk and Isaac can get at the same time. Now, for my final new IP representative, I'm going to bring up a retro character. My first thought on this is actually Lip from Panel the Pawn. And technically, people might argue against Lip, but I actually would count her as a retro character even though she's from SNES, because SNES is still very old. And the other thing too is that Lip's stick has been in the game since Melee. Lip's stick's been in Smash Bros. Since Melee. I think she has a really good chance of getting in. Now there's other suggestions too, such as Takamaru from, well, I forget what it's called, but like Takamaru, and I think he's also appeared in Samurai Warriors and Nintendo Land, so I think Takamaru is possible. But personally, my first pick for a retro character is actually Lip. So, but again, this one is my least likely of my new IP representatives. I think that she's kind of flip-flop a little bit, so it's possible Lip won't get in, but we'll see how that turns out. You know, maybe they'll add a Rhythm Heaven character instead. I'm not sure. I don't know much about Rhythm Heaven. Now, for our very first existing IP representative, and also a very popular request, Lady Palutena from Kid Icarus. This one is a very popular choice. Oops. Lady Palutena is a very popular choice, and honestly, I think that she is pretty much a shoo-in to get in. I think she'd be unlockable, but I do think she's definitely gonna get in this game. Palutena is also notable that she's the only character, the actual character other than Pit, to be in every single Kid Icarus game to date. I did not realize this, but Medusa was not in Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters. I later figured that out, but I didn't know that at the time. So I was kind of thinking that maybe Medusa could be a third choice, but at the same time, though, she's still been in more games than Hades. But either way, the Palutena is a pretty obvious choice. Pretty everyone expects her to get in, and I do too. Heck, she was in Brawl. After Palutena, it's a new Fire Emblem character. Now, this one's highly up for debate. There's a number of choices that a lot of people suggested. The number one pick being Chrom, but I also think Anna has a shot at getting in. I actually mentioned Lyn before. There's also Lucina. There's just so many choices here. Another one is Leaf, since the Rool games have not had a playable character yet. Personally, I do think that Chrom is pretty much the number one choice, but I personally would think that Anna would be a great choice as well, but I'm not going to include her in this roster. I do think if they add a third character, it'd probably be Chrom, but personally, I believe that Anna would be the better choice over Chrom. Either that, or if they include a villain character, my number one choice for a villain character would be Alviss at this point in time. There are a variety of Annas, and they could give like an Anna a magic moveset, and that would work great for her. So I think that's highly possible, but I'm not sure at this point. So I'm still gonna put in Chrom just because he's the more likely user. Another good choice though is Alviss, because she's not only a main antagonist of Awakening, a major one. She's one of the main antagonists of Awakening. She uses a lance and also magic. So if Ike gets an axe, for example, then Alviss can have both a lance and use magic, which fills out all the major Fire Emblem niches. That being the three main physical weapons: swords, lances, axes, and even magic too. My final pick is a little more questionable, but like with Leaf, it's due to the Rool games not being the only series of Fire Emblem games that have more than one game without actually having a character represented in them. And this would be Alviss, due to them being the main antagonist of Genealogy of the Holy War. And unlike with a choice like Leaf or Anna, he could use pretty much any type of weapon, most likely magic. But I'm still sticking with Chrom for this right now. This next one is also fairly obvious. We are going to pick out King K. Rool. Now, another choice is Dixie Kong. Personally, I would love either of them or even both, but I think King K. Rool is more likely. You know, this one's a no-brainer. Just King K. Rool is pretty obvious. I don't really know what else to say about this one. For my second to last pick, this one has not been deconfirmed yet, like people think. It's Ridley from the Metroid series. I'm keeping him a little bit low on my list because Sekiro keeps teasing him as a boss, but I don't know. He hasn't outright stated that Ridley is a boss at this point in time, so I really do think that Ridley has a good chance of being in as a playable character. Plus, he's highly requested and very popular. So, maybe he won't make it, but I'm having my bets on the notion that Ridley might be playable. But again, I do have him low at this point, and he could replace with someone else. For my last choice, Crystal from Star Fox. People may wonder why I have her so low. Well, it's just... I think it's highly likely that they may drop Wolf or Falco, and at the same time, I think it's highly likely they may not add another Star Fox character to replace one of them, because the series hasn't really had much going for it recently, and that's why I'm calling it into question at this point in time. Now, Chris will be an amazing character and will be another great female rep, but I'm just not sure. I'm still vying for her, but I find it questionable at this point in time, so that's why I have her so low on my list right now. And that's really about it. Here's my final roster. I left out the RAM button this time around, but because if Sakurai wants a roster of 50, he'll find a way to fit the roster into 50 slots, and still keep a RAM button in there somewhere. I don't know how it would look, but I think the roster will be at least 45, although 50 is highly likely. So guys, what do you think? Do you like my predictions? If you like this video, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm JaidynReiman, signing out.